Thank you, Deputy Presiding Officer. I appreciate the opportunity to contribute to this debate, albeit that I lament the need for the Scottish Conservatives to use their time to highlight the increasing disquiet the industry is feeling around the proposed introduction of the Scottish Government's deposit return scheme, much of which has been ably highlighted by my colleague Maurice Golden. But let's be clear, Deputy Presiding Officer, this is a policy that is essential to our net zero targets, where the premise of the policy is universally accepted in this Parliament, in the UK Parliament, across industry and to the public. However, although the Minister claims this is an industry-led scheme, I have to say, really? Maurice Golden and I have spoken with literally hundreds of producers and suppliers over the months, and we've yet to meet just one who have been leading the scheme. Actually, the consistent message has been that we have a Scottish Government Minister who will not listen, will not engage, and is blind to the serious concerns being raised across the whole industry. There are so many producers and retailers who have significant issue with the way in which this scheme is being introduced that will have a very specific effect on their viability. For example, I visited a fairly small but successful distillery who produce 500,000 bottles of whisky a year, mainly for export, but they have to carry a bottle stock of 2 million bottles because that is the minimum cost-effective run a bottle producer will deliver. So they carry a 4-year bottle supply. They told me they have put aside £60,000 to pay the fines they will need for using old stock because it will cost them less than ordering new stock once the scheme goes live. Deputy Presiding Officer, this is not an isolated case, and I note Jamie Green's case he raised during portfolio questions. I think it's incredible that the Minister in charge is delivering the scheme and answers so many direct questions with, "I don't know the answer to that." For example, I asked the Minister about the obligations that Circularity Scotland has to the banks on paying back the loans they currently have for the scheme and the potential impact on the timetable from implementation of the scheme. The answer was that the Minister didn't know and actually didn't feel she needed to. Now, all I did was look up the Companies House website to see that the Bank of Scotland have a floating charge over the property or undertaking of that company. And this matters, Deputy Presiding Officer. It might go some way to explain why the Scottish Government are committed to, or potentially forced to, come hell or high water to an August launch. Irrespective of the impact to producers, retailers and hospitality owners, I'll take...
Briefly, Daniel Johnson.
I'm very grateful to Member Gray. In some ways, it's understandable the Minister might not know, because the issues with the lack of information are the problem with Circularity Scotland. So does he agree with me that the Minister needs to get a grip of them and get them to do their job properly?
Brian Whittle.
Absolutely, because there is actually a risk in this arrangement for those businesses who are investing in this Circularity Scotland. Should Circularity Scotland fail, it will be the suppliers and the investors who lose their money. And with such support for a deposit return scheme across the chamber and within the industry itself, this legislation should have been a cakewalk for the Scottish Government. All they had to do was look at the way in which similar schemes have been successfully implemented, talked with the industry, listened to their concerns, kept them close and ensured that they were part of the solution. However, Deputy Presiding Officer, this has not been the case, and the calamitous result is what happens when those in the Scottish Government charged with delivering the scheme have no business acumen whatsoever. I say it's not too late to pause and deliver a more cohesive and effective scheme. I urge the Scottish Government and the Minister to heed the concerns from the industry and have a rethink. Not to do so will have a devastating impact on the economic viability of so many businesses and ensure that the result is those who really pay in the end will be consumers. Deputy Presiding Officer.
Thank you.